Okay, so we're going to start. For new arrivals, we are talking about Johnson & Johnson, this team. Okay, so why we are talking about Johnson & Johnson? It's because we are working with this client since about 3 years. So for those who doesn't know who is Johnson & Johnson, it's one of the biggest companies in the world. I think in the top 10, founded in 19th centuries. And it's selling many kind of medical or healthcare goods. Just some figures. We got like, oops. Yeah. So we got 65 billions of revenue, so it's quite a big firm with 120,000 employees and 250 firms. And we have 1,000 websites running all around the world, multi-languages. It's quite of simple websites, but there are a lot of them, and a lot of brands. It's quite a decentralized system, so each brand is quite independent. So there is no central IT digital department. There is no even regional digital IT department. So the individual brand are very strong. And so we face a problem there. So their problem was 3-4 years ago. They got like 100 vendors, about 50 different technology running websites. They got, of course, Drupal, but they have Joomla, .NET, Java, everything. And of course, because of all that mess, there was no standards. And the result of that is, the first thing is about the cost. Each project, you have like small website built in Russia, cost them 5,000 euros, but there are also some small website built in US costing them $500,000 because of crazy idea of big agencies. And there are also so many security holes. For example, one day, if you was searching for a brand name, you was actually getting all the customers from the CRM system, emails, quality, performance, ACO, well, no standards, everything was not regular. So that's how it started with us. The guy just Googled us and found us on Google and sending me an email like saying, guys, I need some Drupal help. And actually, in France, I didn't knew that Johnson & Johnson, it's not famous brand. Nobody knows Johnson & Johnson. Everybody knows the brands. And I was saying, like, I don't know what Johnson & Johnson is. And I said to my partner, there is a contact, call him. And, what? It's Johnson & Johnson, biggest company. Please call me now. And okay. So the needs was quite easy. We need one technology. They selected Drupal. And we also needed distribution because we don't want, because all the websites of brands are quite similar. So we didn't want to reinvent the wheel each time. We need a centralized sources repository because we have so many vendors. Each vendor uses different source control or no source control at all. So we need a central way to see where all the sources are of all websites. Another thing that some of the websites were in Flash, some of them had some mobile theme. Finally, we helped Johnson & Johnson in the EMEA region to decide that every single websites will be responsive design because they are quite simple. There are no need having a mobile theme, so we said, okay, you will do responsive design. Because it's a so big brand, there are hundreds of brands there. People are often contributors, marketing department are moving from one brand to another. So one day you are in Neutrogena, another way you're on OB, then you go to Net, Vanya, Listerine, and you're moving around. So each time you arrive at new technology, you will have a new back office or no back office or new contacts. So we decided to have one standard back office system for every single new website we are releasing. So people moving from one to another, they will not be shocked. Also, because we actually would like to build all the websites of Johnson & Johnson, we cannot. So we decided to audit every single website is released. So we have a lot of agency and vendors providing websites. So we asked them, guys, if you provide websites for Johnson & Johnson, please first use Drupal. Here is a Git centralized repository when you store your source code, and you will be audited by somebody, Acquia or Ajax, but anyway, you will be audited. And also what we noticed is there wasn't any process. Somebody will offer a tender and the agency will release some crazy design and then will go live. Often they was working with some Indian company or big Capgemini, for example, working for them. There are more process, but a different one. So we set up quite one process that actually works to create a website from zero within this organization. I didn't say that it's a good process for everybody, but within Johnson & Johnson, it was one. And finally, we need a centralized hosting platform because basically performance security issues, well, are also not only related to the code of Drupal, but also was related to the hosting company. So we helped them to set up this kind of platform to manage all those websites. So actually the first thing we've built is this kind of distributions installation profile actually, with workflow, WYSIWYG, sitemap, CMS, see what I call CMS, it's actually admin theme, and content types, standard content types. Each brand have products, okay, title, illustration, photos, whatever. We also had some articles about lifestyle sections or things like that. SEO, we finally grabbed not all the recommendation, but all standard recommendation within this distribution. So we have like SEO footer, for example, you can change the footer links on each page and not globally. Small stuff like that. Social sharing, form, security, and we also set up Drupal. And then for each website we have some custom features, very small of them, probably content types, things like that. And custom theme, of course, because all the websites are different. For the sources, we selected GitLab. I know that in the US they are very GitHub oriented. It might be a solution, but the private GitHub will cost $25,000 minimum. And you haven't as much as control as you have on GitLab. It's the smallest tool, but it's easy to use. We also provided for all agencies working with Johnson & Johnson a standard single branching model. So actually it's quite standard, not exactly standard like you will find in internet, but actually they cannot commit to the production branch because of audit. So only somebody within Johnson & Johnson can commit on production branch after an audit. We've created a lot of responsive templates, also standard. So even if the look of the website is quite different for each brand, they are all based on the same 30 standard and reusable templates. Of course, CSS will change, logo content will change, but if the brand decides and have a low budget, they can reuse templates, standard templates. It works quite well, why change? So just an example, those two templates are exactly the same structure, even if they don't look exactly the same. The left is for Vanya, the right is for Listerine. So the standard back office, as I said previously, we have all these brands and people are moving around, and you have also internal support team, digital, all around countries. For each brand, you have probably 5, 6, 7 websites in different countries. For example, Listerine, we have about 15 of them in Spain, Portugal, everywhere. So you have contributors all around the Europe, and you probably need to find the same back office. So nothing extraordinary there, but just you have to keep clean up, simplify WYSIWYG profile, not let them do anything else, how to deal with taxonomy specific layouts for taxonomy or panels or menu, because they don't want to dig into admin menu things. So well, this is included within the platform. I think the most important actually is not the technology part, because the websites are quite easy. There is nothing, if you take apart each website, it's like just 2 weeks job or maybe, okay, 1 month's job. But when you multiply the number of people you are talking to, the number of vendors, content agency, design agency, CEO agency, digital IT regional, digital local IT from G&J, the brand marketing department, the brand webmastering guys. So you have a lot of, and you multiply this by the number of websites. So the standard process is quite important. So we found out that the best way to work with is to let the agency the entire freedom of creation in terms of design, because this is what they want to do, and the brand wants to be totally independent. Because often when you arrive to the brand and say, okay, we have a standard Drupal platform, please follow the rules, they say, no, my brand is so different. Actually, it isn't so different in terms of text, but in terms of image and design and positioning, they are quite different. So the idea was that we let the agency to create free master templates. What I call master templates is homepage, article, product, and then the tech vendor, actually us, will make all the declination with all templates like sitemap and search results and listings and categories with responsive, because what we also discovered that there are a few agencies knowing exactly how to do responsive design in the right way, but a lot of them think they know and they actually they don't know how to do it. So it's easier for us to let them the creative part, and we produce the PSD for every single template, and then HTML, and we test it on all devices. Also, what was really important in this process is the very beginning, the specs. Because the site seems very simple, very easy, many agencies go directly to design. Okay, we created you this design. And I think this is a big issue because of using the platform and standard content types and standard templates, we force them to create real specification wireframes for each page at the beginning of the project. So we help them to create sketching and wireframes for every single page, showing them a standard neutral website. So this is also something important, because if you say, okay, Listerine, look, there is OB, you can create the same website, but we change everything. They don't understand. So we have to create a demo website which implements all the templates, all the features, but in like gray neutral view. So there is no it's not shocking for the brand to see these templates, and the agency is okay to see these gray ugly templates, but they can imagine and project themselves into the new brand website. Another point was the standard hosting. Actually, what we contracted with, we didn't contract it, but Johnson & Johnson contracted with a hosting company, not important which one is, but we based all the platform on iGear, which is quite right tool to use when you have a lot of websites to manage. Because of each brand being totally independent and each local market is totally independent, we cannot easily set up a multi-site system. We have some of the brands like Le Petit Marseillais, which is a French brand, which is a very strong franchise with strong decision and leadership in France. We can set up multi-site, but for many brands, each local market are totally independent, and then we have to duplicate the websites. And to easily duplicate the websites, we need iGear, because we have a lot of them. We have I think now we have like 60 websites running this, and upgrowing, because we're migrating the new websites each day. So what offers you iGear is actually one-click site duplication. We have a centralized view of all websites, so you can supervise them all. You're also going quite fast updating the code, because when you're correcting one bug or implementing a new feature, you have to deploy it across several websites. And you have also quite automated staging and deploy strategy, so you can one-click deploy from pre-production to prod. So just a view, for example, you have an overview of this iGear Backoffice for one Netherlands Listerine site. So we can backup, we can delete backup, we can clone the website. For example, if you want to create the Belgian version of Listerine, we just have to clone the website, and then the content editors can modify logo, site name, content, etc. We can also git pull, so we can work with the Git repository, which is connected to this system. And we can easily create a website from brand new website using one of the installation profile, which you see installation profile Pressful, which is a brand clean Drupal, or you can use Johnson & Johnson V3, V2, it's kind of different version of the distribution. But now Acquia have signed a global partnership with Johnson & Johnson, so we are moving some of the websites to Acquia hosting, so it will be quite the same because we have almost the same feature there. So finally, what was the learnings of this? Well, we are still in the process now since 3 years, so the process is much more important than technology is. It's very easy to create such websites like Listerine, Vanya, or whatever, but it's much more complicated to deal with agency, local markets, and IT departments because of the independence of the brands, because of also some political reasons why this brand in Spain want to work only with this agency in Spain, we don't know. So when you put your fingers on the inside and say, well, you have to use this Drupal, you have to use this platform. So it's very important to set up a process and also to sell the process to the brands, because the brands finally are the sponsors of the projects. You cannot just force them, I mean, within the J&J organization, you cannot just force them, yes, okay, you have to use this standard. You have to sell and explain why it will be better, why it will be more interesting, more rentable, with less cost. Also, what we've noticed is that the first figures was very important. Before websites within J&J, the cost was about 100,000 euros, and it took them about 6 months from the initial decision to the real release. It seems very long, but actually they have a lot of internal process, founding process, project plan process, then the development, and they have validation, regulatory validation. So this is, and now we are able to roll out websites within 2 or 3 months and within 20,000 euros about, or even less if they are clones of existing websites. What we also noticed is that because you are working within so big organization, it's quite complicated to make cost estimates with, okay, I need a new brand needs a website, how much it will cost. And you have so many different level of specs and insights, so you cannot really make real estimates like in a standard tender or RFP. So what we find out is that it's much easier to work because these websites are very standard. There are not many crazy features. We can provide a standard price list for the brand saying, okay, one template is this amount of money. Setup of a new website is this amount of money, cloning, page content upload, content translation. So we have quite standard. We negotiated with them centrally, standard price list. And so even it's very easy for a new brand to just connect, download the price list and say, okay, I need 20 templates website with this feature. They have a kind of catalog of features and they have a price. Maybe not the final price, but an accurate price. At the beginning it was quite easy because we was launching like websites, 5 websites, 3 websites, it was okay. But now we are running like 50 websites. You notice that the amount of end user support is just crazy. Guys at Ajax receive like 20 calls per day, just running websites like, I don't know how to upload this article, or, oh, my article disappeared, or my homepage is all broken, and like 95% is an error from contribution or maybe whatever. So you have to think about the user support because it's extremely time consuming because you're dealing with small overloaded guys which has in marketing department, they don't have time to work on the website, So they want an answer quickly, so they will call you 5 times in the same day if they don't get the answer. So you have to set up something. If you are working with such big companies, you have to set up something like ticket-based support or whatever. They have to pay actually for that, because you will need man hours, a lot of man hours to manage all that. Or you can try going with some partners like Commerce Guys or Acquia for the support, but well, it depends of your capacity. I'm sorry, I'm being very fast on that, because I actually have a plane in the so if you don't mind, we could start if you have any questions right now, because then I could be late and it would be, well, not so good session. But anyway, if you are still interested in some slides, it's short version slides, there will be on SlideShare. You can follow me, and well, of course you have to rate. This was a mandatory thing, so mandatory slide. So if you have questions, well, just ask them. Yeah. Yeah.
Could you elaborate on the team structure you have on your site and the clients?
Yeah. Okay. In terms of the team, it's, well, in terms of J&J, it's just not possible to describe. There are all kind of teams. We have we have UK, which very organized with project manager, IT, and we don't see the brand. We have direct relationship with the brands in France, but we also have direct relationship with some agency, because the J&J local brand don't have even time to think about the website. So we have a direct relationship with the agency, almost without J&J. On our side, we have about 4 project managers in the one team. So it's organized with one coordinator, 1 technical, and 2 functional project managers. And we have about 10 or 15 developers, and also 5 or 6 QA, because we need QA. So it's a quite big team. Johnson & Johnson's a big client for us, but we are doing a lot of websites for them, so all around Europe. So, well, that's necessary. Philippe a une petite question. Okay, well, thank you.